Hi, I'm George Hickox. Okay, our website is www.georgehickox.com, and I'm here to answer some questions and hopefully help you. The question we have in front of us is regarding a German Shorthair that the owner is having difficulty getting the dog on to hold point reliably. It says that the dog whoas when not hunting, but he can't get it to whoa when he does. So that's what we're going to address. I would want to see the dog whoas if it was in the field with no bird, oh, say 30 yards from you. That if you said whoa one time, the dog stopped. In order to get there, you wouldn't start training in the field and say it. I would want to see the dog does it in the yard. We use a board to solve a lot of these problems. We would have trained the dog to stay in a board. We started off with positive reinforcement. So when the dog was on the board, we gave it a hot dog or any sort of reward that the dog liked. Then later, if it came off the board after I told it to whoa, I would stimulate it. And I would stimulate it at a low level. It should have been done through collar condition, done properly, which is a process. So I would never just use the collar if the dog had not been properly introduced to the collar in formal stages. Once the dog is on the board reliably, it knows that's a safe zone, and that's important. I would then have a pigeon walking around. I would tape the wings, put Velcro around it so it couldn't fly, and I'd have the pigeon walking around in front of the dog, say, no closer than 15 feet. Right? If the dog came off the board, behind the board, I would have a stake in the ground. I would have a check cord on the dog. The check cord would be 20 feet, okay, 15 feet. When the dog came off the board, run into the bird, he would run and he would hit the end of the check cord. The check cord would stop him from getting it, and I would put him back on the board. By doing this a number of times, a number of consistent repetitions, the dog would understand that I wanted it to stay on the board. Then if it came off the board, I'm going to use low-level stimulation to correct it. If the dog's not reliable on a board, he's sure not going to be reliable out there in the field. Right?
Yeah.
So he's sure not going to be reliable in the field. But once he's reliable there, okay, then we also use a pigeon pole. And that's a piece of PVC, 8 or 10 feet high, that's vertical, stuck in the ground. And we've got a long string on it, and that's tied to the pigeon's legs. And we can bring the dog out on that and see the bird walking around. Now the dog is on the ground, not on a board. And if he won't stay there in this situation when I've got a check cord on him, he's still not ready to go to the field. When the dog is perfect there, I would then go out, plant a bird, bring the dog downwind of the bird, where he's running perpendicular to the scent cone. So the wind was going from the north to the south. I'd be running the dog east to west or west to east. As soon as he crosses the scent cone, he should then point. And when he starts to break, okay, I would use the check cord, okay, and give him a sharp jerk to put him down. Once I've done that for a number of repetitions, let's say 10 or 12 times, if the dog's not religious there, I'm going to go back to the board because I feel something's wrong, he's not learning. When he's religious on the check cord with the bird there, I'm then going to cut him loose where he's dragging a check cord, but I'm not holding on to it. I've got a planted bird. And at that point, if the dog then took the bird out, okay, what I would do is I would then apply low-level stimulation. If I had to continue doing that, I would say I didn't do my foundation well enough in the yard, and I would go backwards. So I don't ever like to put the roof on until I've got a solid foundation. And without seeing the dog, that's the advice that I would give. It'd be a series of steps.